Alright, so this is the recording for question 7B, and let's take a look at the question. So for question B, what's the input? We are given the K, so it is a top K problem, right? So here we are given the K, and then we want to find the top K or something, and then we are given the year as well. So we are interested in a specific year, and this is just the name of the file. Right. So for that specific year, we would like to find for each of these academic programs, what is this ratio? And just from here, we will use the same framework and ask ourselves, what do we filter by? So step one is easy, we just import. And step 2, let's see. Step 2, we want to filter by, we would like to filter by year, right? We are interested in this year. So everything that's not this year, we would like to discard it. So this is easy. Step 3, what are we interested to group things? We would like to group by, the academic, different academic field. So different causes. So we would like to group by causes. So our keys in our dictionary will be cause. Then step 4, for each cause, I want to compute its ratio. So what do we need for a ratio? To get a ratio, all we need is just the female intake as well as the male intake, right? So ideally for step 4, we would like to end at something like this. Let me copy up the format and let's see. So we would like to end up at something like this, where the key is the cause and the ratio is set as a value, right? So let's see. To calculate the ratio, what do we need? We need the intake of male and intake of female. So just from here, what we can do in step 3, we can infer what we need from step 3. Right? Essentially, what we need is a slight modification of the dictionary in step 4. Oh, it's not step 4. I'll just correct it to be step 3. Yeah, it's part of step 4. Right. So we can do something like this. You just include another dictionary, and then here I use M as the key for my male intake and F for my key for my female intake. So essentially what I'm doing is I group by cause, then group by gender. And then the value here is the intake. Right. So I'm grouping intake. Okay. So once I've reached here, you can just find top K. So that's an additional step 5. So step 5, we can use dot items to convert it to a list of key value pairs, and the list will look something like this, right? So this is using dot items. We'll get something like this, and then we find the top K, right? So we are almost done. To find the top K, we have a very standard way of doing things, right? So first is we can sort. What we can do is sort depending on the situation. If it's top K, we want the largest top K. We would like to sort it in a descending order. So we will sort the list using one of the method to sort is just use lst.sort, and then we want it to be in reverse direction. So reverse equal true. By default, it's not true. So it will give me an ascending order, and we don't want. And we are actually lacking here. We need to tell them what value are we sorting with respect to. I would like to specify the key, right? So this tells the sorting function that I want to sort with respect to, in our case, the ratio, right? This is what we'll code later, and then I will deal with k less than 0, right? So what do we do if we have k less than 0? We return whole list. We return the empty list. And then after this trivial case, we will deal with k larger and equal to the length of the list. And for this, we return the whole list. Right, so once we have dealt with these two sort of edge cases, we can finally deal with the appropriate case, right? So for k that is in between this, so here what I can do is to find out what is the k largest. So what I can do is to look at this value, lst.k minus 1. So this thing right here, this is the k largest element, right? So once I know that this is the k largest element, all I need is to get everything that's larger than this plus everything that has a tie with this k element. So this is by definition what we want, right? So what we can do is just use filter, right? Use filter to filter out everything that is smaller than this k element, and then this will help us to include the tiebreaker as well. Right, so let's translate everything to code. We have our strategy right here, and it's always good to sort of draft out this before you code. It will be a lot easier. And let's code. So just to read data is always the same method of read CSV, and we need the file name, and we will start from 1 to the end. Right, we don't want the heading, and then we just filter things using list plus filter. Right, and I want to filter everything with the same year. So year, it's the first, so it's a 0th index. Right. Right, so I want this everything to be the year that I specify, and then my input data, it's name data, and I want to group by. Right, so I will start off with a dictionary. So my dictionary I want it to look at something like this. Right. So this is the idea here. So let's see how do we code it. So again, it's very similar to the previous question. What I will do is do for row in filtered data, and I will get the I'm not interested in year, so it's a very common way to unpack a tuple like this. So row here is a tuple of 5 elements, right? So what I'll do is I'll just unpack the tuple with the thing that I'm interested in. So I'm interested in the sex, the cost, and as well as the intake. So once we have that, and then we wanted to create the first key, right? So if the outermost key is the cost, so we want to check whether the cost is in. If it's not in the dictionary, what we want to do is to add it in first. So what we will do is to add an empty dictionary because we want to group by 2 things, so there will be a dictionary inside. And what we will have, once we have added this, we can, in this case, right, so ideally we want to check whether sex is inside as well, but in our case, because we only know that we already know that is occurring only once, so I'll just create the sex grouping directly here. So once I've done that, this should be able to give me the dictionary that I want. And now we are entering step 4. So let's go back and see what's our step 4. We would like to compute this ratio. So we start off as this. So this is the ingredient, the thing that we've just cooked up. And then we want to convert everything to this. Right. So it's pretty simple. So what we'll do is we'll loop through each of the element. Right. So what we can do, or we can just convert this to a list first. What I'll do is convert the dictionary to a list, so using dot items. Right. So dot items is extremely helpful when we are dealing with dictionary. And then I'm going to define a function. So let's see what is the shape of my data, shape of my list right here. Right. It's going to be a list of tuples, where each tuple is a pair of key and value. So the key right here, it's my cost, right? It's my cost. And then the value right here will be my dictionary. Right. So what is this dictionary? It's a dictionary of this one, right? So this is my dictionary, right? So in each of my tuple, I have my cost and the dictionary containing the information for my male intake and female intake. So I'm going to define a function that takes in a row right. In fact, it takes in cost and the sex dictionary, and what it's going to do is it's going to return me cost. But I don't want to change my first element, and then it's going to compute the ratio for me. So in this case is the female minus male, female minus male, over the male plus female. So what I'm going to do is just copy this and change the minus to a plus. See? Change this minus to a plus, and this gives me the ratio. And that's my function, and I'm going to apply this function in each of these tuples. So I'm going to create map list to be a list where I map right. So I specify function and specify my list. it's gonna map me to what I want. Okay? And then I'm going to sort it as usual. Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort everything using dot sort. Right. And then I would like to specify my key first. Right. So I want to sort by using ratio. So I want to look at the ratio. TPL1 is just the ratio. And then I want to be in descending order. So I specify true for reverse. This will sort things. And then we deal with the cases. So let's look at. So I'm going at step 5 now, where I find the top k, and then I will use dot sort, and then I deal with the 2 trivial cases. Then finally I do the more complicated ones. So if k is less than equal to 0, it's very easy. I'll return an empty list. And else if k is larger or equal to the length of map list, what I will do is just return map list, the whole thing. And if it's in between, what I will do is to return the filtered list. Right, so I'm going to filter and get everything larger or equal to the k element. Right, so I'm going to look at all the tuples. I would want the ratio to be larger or equal to map list, the k minus 1 ratio. So it's index 1. So this will give me all the element that is from index 0 to k minus 1, as well as everything that has a tie with the k minus 1 element. That's why I use filter right here to settle the tiebreaker. This should work, and let's hope it works. I'll clear this off, and let's go to 7a and comment this out and run this. All right, so I'll get false for everything. Let's see what's the problem. So I'm returning empty list for everything. I'm returning empty list. That shouldn't be the case. Let's troubleshoot. Maybe there are cases where I've removed everything right here. So obviously the k right here will come through this. Let's check here. So map list, the k minus 1 element. I look at 1. So this thing is correct. Oh, I forgot to include something very important, which is the data that we are filtering. Am I doing the correct thing? I'm doing the correct thing. And then let's see. So let's go through element by element. So this is empty. So it could be the case where I remove everything. Right, so what I'm going to do now is to start off with this. I'm going to print map list out. What I'm going to do is to print map list out, and then let's just have my map list right here. Right, so I know that this is a map list, and let's see. So under this map list, it's already empty, so it's not the issue with map list. Let's go up with list. Right, is list empty? So only one way to find out, and I'm going to put an indicator right here, and I'm going to print list, and let's see, run it, and it's already empty. Right, so this is empty, which means that issues come from here. Right, so there's a high chance that the dictionary is empty as well. And okay, do this. Let's try. So as you can see, I'm going from bottom up. So I'm trying to reverse engineer and see what's the problem. You see the dictionary is empty as well. So let's try the filtered data, and it should be empty as well, because it's what I suspect, it is empty. So what's the problem right here? I accidentally filtered everything. It could be the same issue where I need to convert it to integer, and then everything here needs to be an integer as well. So the cost here doesn't need to be an integer, but the intake here will need to be an integer. Could be the case, and I'm still getting error. That's unfortunate. No, I should be making this an integer. I'll just leave the integer on a year, and let's see. Okay, I've passed. I've managed successfully gone through here, and then let's see. Right, so what I'm gonna do, it's this way, and right, right, this. Do we have any error right here? This, and this is this. It should be correct. Maybe I'll just replace this to TPL, and then this will be my TPL 0, and then everything here will be TPL 1. So the text dictionary, and replace everything with that, and then we try to run the code. Right, and this will have successfully run the code, and let's see. Oh, we got false. Do we need to round anything up? Let's look at the question. And we need to round to 2 significant decimal place. So let's just round everything inside this lambda function. We'll round this to 2 decimal place. And let's see. So I would like the absolute difference. So that's the problem right here. So I'll just change this to absolute difference and run it, and I get true. So yeah, so we have successfully solved this, and hopefully it's clear that the general strategy is this, and this is the code right here. That's it. That's about it. See you in the next video.